Hey everybody, so I just got some news about a friend that was surprising, a bit shocking even. Come to think of it, it really shouldn't have been. It's not like it totally came out of left field, but still, it was like, oh, so that's what's going on with this person. Um, a person that I've interacted with a lot and a person that I've been relatively close to. Not a best friend, not my girlfriend. Not that deep of an intimacy, but still. Anyway, so and actually saw a few cases of it today, and I wanted to make a video about it. And the video is about the fact that people are not well. People in general are not well. That doesn't mean everybody's doing horribly. That doesn't mean some people aren't doing well. Some people are. But I would say, as a generalization, most people are not well. Um, Again, there's degrees. Some people are living very functional lives and are content. But I think what's really true, because I can't say I don't know everybody in the world. I know enough people, but I think what I can really say for sure is that beneath the surface of what we see, there's a lot more turmoil going on in just about everybody. I think Marianne Williamson said, "People suffer, and people suffer deeply." Um, and that's the thing, we don't tend to see it because it's not PC, it's not socially acceptable to just be honest about what's going on with you. You kind of are asked to put on a happy face in our society, so it can be hard to see, um, which makes sense. Like, I mean, if everybody at work was just, oh, I hate my job, life sucks, and well, sometimes people at work do say that, but if the society is based on productivity, that's just the reality. You can say that's a bad thing, a good thing. I'm not really too interested in that right now, but there's a reason why it's not convenient for the society to talk about my struggles, my issues, my humanity. Um, but there most certainly is a reason to talk about that on the individual level, because we can never be fulfilled if we're living a falsehood in our personal lives, you know. So people are not well. Or if you don't like that statement, sometimes people take issue with that and they say, well, I'm fine. Which, sadly, if you need to really point out, well, I'm fine, usually that means maybe you're not totally fine. Otherwise, if it doesn't resonate with you, then, just throw it out. I'm happy you're fine. But anyway, if you don't like the statement, people are not fine, not well, then you could say, well, there's more going on beneath the surface. There's a lot more turmoil going on with people than meets the eye. That's the statement. Um, why is it important to realize that? Well, first of all, I think it leads to more acceptance of ourselves. If we realize that, oh, like everybody's kind of struggling and flailing around, then that means it takes a big weight off of our shoulders. It's like, okay, I can just be a human. I can just be myself. It's okay, I'm just like everybody else. It's really a big burden. Gets released that way. That's very important. Um, I think one way that comes about is just, well, you kind of do have to put yourself out there and start being honest with people, not with everybody, not at your job per se, but in your personal relationships, especially with your partner, your romantic partner, the people closest to you, you kind of do have to take the step to be honest. Because if you've accepted your humanity, you've accepted these things about yourself, but if you're not willing to share it, if you're not willing to externalize it, well, then you haven't totally accepted it yet. You're still holding back. There's still some armor. So, um, you do need to start being honest with people, at least with your closest people, or with a one person at least. You have to start being open. Um, and once you do that, first you'll see that, oh, look, this person doesn't think I'm crazy. It's okay. People love me the way I am. And then actually, as you start being honest and open with people, they'll start being honest and open back. Not always, but as a rule, 1 second, guys. Okay, so as a rule, or as a general rule of thumb, um, vulnerability invites vulnerability back. Not always, but usually. Especially if there's already a degree of love and trust present, then yeah. So you will start being honest, and you can't expect anyone to open up first to you. Sometimes people do, but that's not even really going to be fulfilling for you. Your fulfillment comes from being open and honest on your side of the street. So anyway, if you open up, people will open up to you, sometimes more, sometimes less. But that's how you get to know people, and that's how you get to see, wait a minute, not everything is as it seems. And that will lead to greater acceptance of yourself. You'll have a better understanding of your humanity, your flaws, your weaknesses, your fragility. You'll have a better understanding about other people too. And again, that fosters acceptance, compassion, love. That will bring you greater peace. You're not fighting against yourself anymore. You realize it's just okay to be yourself. So yeah, it's important for that reason. Um, it will bring you more clarity and peace and love for yourself. I think it's important also for another reason is it will help you to love other people more. Um, why is that important? Some people love just because they want to love, which is great. The only issue is if you think, well, it's my job to fix people, this is actually important, guys. I'm not saying people are not well, fix them. Not at all. That's not love. Love is accepting people just as they are. Um, so anyway, if you want to love people just because you love them, great. Then this will help your love to be more unconditional, more authentic. Um, but then again, it will help you also because um, when we try to micromanage people and change them, um, or if we have high expectations for people and they don't meet them, then we're gonna be disappointed, and it could actually affect our relationship. You could have something very beautiful between two human beings, but if you're constantly judging this friend or this partner or this whatever, this person, and they're not living up to your expectations, well, it's gonna really hamper the relationship. What could be a beautiful connection between two people is suddenly you saying, well, this person's screwed up or this person's just an idiot. There's more. There's always, people do idiotic things, but there's always more behind it. Always, always. So yeah, point one, it will help you realizing that people aren't well or that people suffer will help you to accept your own suffering more. That's point one. Point two, it will improve your relationships. It will better help you. It will help you to have more loving connections with people, which will benefit you and benefit them also. In point three, I think it will help you also to follow your intuition. People love to give advice. I'm gonna talk about Reddit also because that's where I post. But in real life, people love giving advice too. Everybody gives advice. It's so common. I'm slightly angry about it. That's my stuff. But I mean, it's natural. People have been telling me how to live my life my whole life. It's like, well, fuck you, basically. So it's natural to be angry about it. Just, my perspective now is it's not their fault that I'm angry. My anger is mine to deal with, but I have to own it. Of course I'm angry. I'm just gonna scream in my room instead of screaming at that person, because it's never that person's fault. No one person is to blame for my anger or for the hardships I've had. Anyway, that's digression. So I lost my train. I went off on a tangent there, and I lost my train. But so people love to give advice. It can be hard to get lost because it can be hard to find your way because with so many strong opinions, you can think like, well, maybe they're right, maybe I'm wrong. But this realization that people suffer, and many times people don't know what they're talking about. They definitely don't know your experience better than you. Um, and many times they don't even know their own experience. It's kind of crazy, and people will give you advice with no basis in reality, and they will give advice that they themselves don't take because it's easier to tell people do this and not do it yourself. Do as I say, not as I do. So when you realize that there's a lot of suffering going on, people aren't well, people don't have it together, you can kind of just ignore all that crap and just do what you want to do what feels right to you. And it's interesting because even the people who seem to have a lot of clarity, there are levels of clarity, I believe. Um, Even some of the people who seem to have a lot of clarity are still human. I recently had a teacher who had a lot of clarity. He taught me a lot, but when I really started getting to know him, some ugly things came out. So I don't need to take everything he says as the word of God. He's just a human being, you know. Um, Even Osho, who I love, who was enlightened, and then he went beyond enlightenment, which is like the total dissolution of ego. Um, he was not a perfect man. What I see him is he's almost a bit paranoid. I don't know. Maybe he was justifiably paranoid. I don't know. I don't know him personally. He's been dead before he died before I was born. But he's still a human being. So take what people say with a grain of salt. Even the people who have a lot of clarity, they will never know your experience like you. You can learn from people for sure, but they have their crap too. Even if they've transcended a lot of their crap, even if they're very peaceful on the inside and even enlightened or whatever, well, they're still human beings. They can still make mistakes. So lean on your own understanding, above all. And as for Reddit posts, yeah, be really careful with that because people speak with a lot of certainty on the subreddit Spirituality Awakened, and you know, it's funny as I've got to know some of these people more deeply. I actually met one in real life, and well, he himself actually is a very good guy, but some of the other people I've met, as you start speaking with them, you realize that these people don't have it all together. But that's the problem, is that they kind of act like, well, I know what I'm talking about. I have it all together. Um, so you could ask me, well, why should I listen to you? Well, A, don't. If it doesn't resonate with you, then you can throw it out. B, I think I'm a bit more honest about my weaknesses. I'm not claiming that, look, guys, this is it. I'm just sharing my experience. And C, I'm also always willing to chat more. When I made a post recently that was a bit controversial, a lot of people loved it, but some people really didn't like the message. Um, I'm always willing to chat more. I love when people send me a PM or send me a chat. I could go on Skype with you. I could go on WhatsApp, Discord. I'm always willing to chat more. So that's the thing. Some people kind of hide behind the text. I'm not afraid to put myself out there. And I think that's honestly a testament to the truth that I'm speaking. I could be wrong about some things, but I'm willing to take the test, and you can prove me wrong. If you want to come at me and say, well, no, everybody's doing fine, who's this guy saying people are not fine, everybody's fine, well, let's talk about it. I really don't think you're gonna prove me wrong on that, but you could try. I'm always open to talk about it, and of course I've been proven wrong. I've had some small experiences where I've been humbled, like on Reddit I'm talking about, in life, many more, but on Reddit specifically I've had some small experiences where I've been humbled. Um, I had at least one huge experience over a year ago where I just was shown that wow, like I'm completely off about this. I've been so blind, and I accepted that, and I suffered the pain of the change. So I think that's the key in what I'm doing is that I'm open. Not perfect, but I'm pretty open. Um, so anyway, that's all I'm saying, guys. People are not well. There's more suffering. There's more turmoil going on than meets the eye. Realizing that um, will help you to accept yourself more. It will help you to accept others more, and it will even help you to go with your gut, because you don't need to listen to all the noise, because many times the noise really is coming from people who have no idea what they're talking about. And even if they do, they never know your experience better than you. Alright, guys, so I hope that's interesting. I hope that's helpful. And if you ever want to talk, just send me a chat. Get in touch with me. Alright, guys, take care.